to Overreaction Mondays. My God, Nino don't seem too excited, man.
I'm ready. Let's go.
It is week 7, Overreaction Monday, and as always, what is the college football world overreacting to? I am the governor of college football, also known as Lever KT. And with me today is the mayor of college football, Nino Brown. Nino, what's happening?
What's good? What's cooking? This was a great week of football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of people because I thought my Twitter was gonna get bing, 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 bing. Maybe people wind up and realize that just because it's an L doesn't mean it's over.
Yeah, I think on top of that too, one, what you said, because it's an L, it ain't over. 2, you're respecting in this thing, so somebody gonna come at you, they better be ready for what you gonna say back. So you better be careful. But let's talk about it. Oregon, they went to Seattle, and this game between Oregon and Washington, it lived up to the hype. Both teams showcasing why they're some of the best teams in the nation, with Washington winning 36-33 on a beautiful Penix back shoulder fade to Odunze in the corner. Oregon did have a chance to send this game into overtime, but Camden Lewis' kick went right from 50 yards. Nino, I've never been a fan of leaving points on the field. I've always been that way in Madden. If you play me, you know I'm going to kick my field goals. I'm going to punt the ball when it's time to. I'm going to play the field position game. I found myself extremely frustrated with Kalen DeBoer and Dan Lane in this game with not taking field goals. What were your biggest takeaways from this game? And Nino, I want you to be brutally honest. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to talk. I'm going to mute myself. Go ahead. Do your thing, player.
All right. First off, this was the game of the year so far. It was bigger than Texas OU. It was bigger and better than Colorado TCU. And I'm going to say now, it's bigger and better than Ohio State, Penn State this week. But like Texas, Oregon's not dead. Okay, you people want to roast them up, put them in an envelope, and mail it, so they're done. It's not dead. I took away exactly what I thought coming in. Both teams were elite offensively. They are. Honestly, and I'll probably catch some heat for this on the X, on the Twitter, on the YouTube, on the Reddit, whatever you want. But I think Oregon had played a better overall game. But Michael Penix said, I'm going to put my nuts on the table after that late game interception, and I'm going to throw you a game winner. We're going to see who's got the bigger one tonight. And Bo was good. The Oregon game was dominant, almost run at will with whoever you wanted to, right? I think they both had 6 yards per carry, Irvin and James. Can we finally, it's been a little bit, but can we finally put Troy Franklin in this Biletnikoff Award talk and top 5 receiver of the year? I know Burden, Neighbors, and Harrison, and the whole Keon Coleman. I'm with it. I'm not stupid. I live this shit. But Troy Franklin in back-to-back weeks, pretty much every game but one, has been an absolute dog. I mean, 8 receptions for $154 and a touchdown, and that was pretty much all in the second half. Now, I'm going to pause this for a minute, because if I had to rewind, I could pull it up. I would pull it up and play it right now for you, okay? I'm going to rant for a second, and we're going to get back to your regularly scheduled program. But last time, this time around last season, I said, don't forget about Jalen Polk. He's a legitimate threat for the Huskies, and it's going to be a major reason why they could be a threat for the best wide receiver in the country. I got laughed at. Got people tagging me. Ohio State, come on, son. But Polk couldn't stay healthy last year when McMillan and Romeo were dominating. Well, fast forward to current time now. McMillan can't stay healthy. And Polk is eating like Zeke in a GIF. All of a sudden, now people believe that Polk is a guy. But when I said a year ago I was a clown, bozo, put the nose on. You obviously ain't watching the right tape. Well, maybe now you guys are watching the same tape I watched. But let's get back to your normally scheduled program, okay? Are you impressed with the Huskies and their front four? Because Braylon Trice and Zion were supposed to be possible early day 2 picks. Zion hasn't had anything great of a season, and he had a 45 PFF grade versus the run because the Ducks could do whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted on the ground. And Trice, on 85 snaps, you had a 60.8 PFF grade and only 3 pressures in a huge game? 85 snaps, son? What are you, Casper? You just disappear when you want to? Come on. You know, Edifon Olafashro said, all right, fellas, hold my beer. I'm going to show you how you step up in the game. And he did that, All right, 11 tackles, 9 of them were solo. He had a sack and 5 run stops. I mean, it's gonna sound like I'm beating a dead horse, and this is why I get confused and why Landon did some of the things he did. But I mean, it felt like Oregon could just run it. And I mean, run it like Chris Brown and Joel Santana in a music video. They couldn't stop them at all. When both of your running backs are averaging over 6 yards per carry, why are you trying to do something different? Danny. Oh, Danny. And I know this is going to get to your question. I live and die by you, my man. Okay? But 0-3 on 4th down. And I'm with the first one.
Mhm.
Fine. I'm with you. Want to go into the D measuring contest? I'm with it. It's early. You get that. You put points on the board. You're putting your foot on the neck. You want to score? We can score, right? And then if you make a mistake, I'm going to score. If you can't score, we're going to score. That's what he meant to go do. He wanted to make dominance, but you didn't make it. Cool, whatever. I'm cool with it. No problem. No sweat. Doesn't affect anything. Your quarterback was nails. Didn't make his mistake. Didn't have a turnover. But at the end of the first half, knowing at this point that it's going to be a dogfight, because I thought at this point you were going to start to see Oregon pull away because I didn't trust that defense for the Huskies. And to a point outside of Franklin, they played well. But the guys that I mentioned were the keys. Or Ferguson was the dude. He stepped up and played key points, getting first downs and extended plays. Obviously, Franklin was the guy in Bucky. But the one to close the half, you need that. You need those 3 points because you know at that point this is going to be a fight. This is going to come down to that final possession. And once that interception hit late with Penix, you would have had that cushion because you would have had 3 extra. And when that drive came with 4 minutes to go, when you were asking your team, all right, we're going to wind it down. We've been running the ball all game. This is where I bring this point up. 6 yards per carry. Why are you throwing the ball? Why are you throwing the ball in anything but play action outside sweeps, right? You should have been running the ball, keep the clock going, because what happened? We watched this happen a week ago. Mario Cristobal. And it's not the same thing. I don't want you guys to get it twisted. It ain't the same thing, right? Yeah, there was no timeouts, but the timing was different. The field position was totally different. When you're on Washington's 48 and you gave them a little under 2 minutes to go, but a dude who can throw one pass and it's a touchdown, you either kick the 3 or you punt and you put it on your defense, who's played pretty damn well all game. Yes, you let up points, but they were pretty good. So no, I don't agree with it. I agree with the first one. The second 2, you got a little too aggressive. But I mean, there were little plays here and there that could have probably kept you out of that, right? Like just calls on 2nd and 3. Instead of going, try to go for the marbles, go for the gusto, you could have just went with a check down, played a tight end, extended drive. Now you're in field position to keep the thing going. Maybe put another 3 or a touchdown on it. So there were different things they could have done, but I'm not worried about it. And like I said, it was different things. But am I worried? Not really, because we'll talk about it
later. that was a lot to take in, but I like what you were able to get across. One, just because you lose one game doesn't mean that you're down. You can lose in September. You can lose in October. You just can't lose in November. No, you just can't lose in November, period.
No.
yeah, you just can't. So I love how you handle that. But let's get into my overreaction numero uno. Pac-12 will cannibalize themselves and won't get a team in the playoff. Go ahead, Nino.
I've heard this a lot, right? Mm-hmm. I've been hearing it since Colorado became relevant, right? Mm-hmm. When Colorado won that first game, so many teams are going to eat. But it doesn't work for every conference, right? Doesn't that work for the Big Ten? Like Michigan's good, but so is Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, and even Maryland for that fact, mm-hmm. right? In the end, they could all, this week's a major game. Michigan's got to face both of those guys down the stretch. If any one of those teams loses, well, they all lose in however fashion. We're in the same cannibalistic fortune, right? Look at the SEC. Oh, Georgia's got to run a gauntlet. People know it's the bottom 25 gauntlet. And I think in that gauntlet, they're going to catch an L, okay? I may be wrong. I don't trust Beck. We've seen it last week. It wasn't that good. I haven't seen enough. So Bama loses one in the conference, and they face a few in the conference that are ranked. Georgia as well. God forbid LSU keeps winning. Oh, hello. They face Bama at the end of the year, right? If Oregon or Washington are in the top 4 with 2 weeks to go at the end of the year, or both of them in the top 4, look out. Because Alabama and Georgia too. Because I know I said LSU was dead. But maybe they aren't dead. They just don't control their own destiny yet.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
So cannibalism can exist in any one of these big conferences.
I don't think so, though. Like, in certain conferences, yes. And it's not fair. But this is college football. Ain't shit fair in college football. Let's look at it this way. Northwestern, dumpster fire. Rutgers, depending on the week. Indiana, oh my God, they're terrible. They are really, really bad.
Yep.
Purdue, but I will put them in a bad category. So I don't know what we're seeing from Colorado this weekend. I don't know what they are. They aren't good though. I tell you that. Arizona State, okay, dumpster fire. But Noah Fafita and the Arizona Wildcats are going to upset some people, Nino. I'm telling you that right now. I'm telling you right there. They are going to be competitive for the rest of the season. Right? So then you look at, okay, what the hell happened to Cam Ward in Washington State? Don't write them off just yet. They're going to be competitive later in the season.
2 out of the last 3, they haven't been competitive.
Yeah, they haven't been. Don't forget about the team that nobody's talking about in the Pac-12 other than CFB Nation and people on Corvallis. Oregon State is going to beat some people this year.
Okay, but it's not any different than the Big Ten.
Big Ten?
Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, and Maryland, and Michigan. That's 5.
Okay. See, the issue with the Big Ten, they're extremely top heavy, and then this division thing in the Big Ten, you got one side that's really strong and one side that's...
See, the problem is you're thinking that there's more than just 2 teams in the Pac-12. I'm telling you, there's not more than 2 teams in the Pac-12.
I don't agree with that. Washington displayed this weekend that they're beatable. They're very beatable.
It's just Washington and Oregon. That's it.
And you don't think on any given Saturday that Washington is beatable? Based on what you've seen.
Washington and Oregon are beatable because Oregon just lost. And yes, maybe Washington should have lost that game.
Yeah.
But if you put either one of those teams against USC, I think they dog walk them.
Dog walk them?
Dog walk them. Notre Dame dog walk USC. Oregon and Washington would dog walk Notre Dame. Dog walk. Shit on their face in the middle of halftime. Terrible. These teams have two prolific offenses. Oregon's got a great defense. Washington is figuring the defensive game out.
Yeah, they're slowly figuring it out. I would agree with that.
Pac-12 is Caleb Williams. USC is Caleb Williams, and that is it.
That's it.
And we saw Caleb throw 3.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen him ever throw 3.
No, it was bad. It was hard to watch.
And it wasn't the defense that blew that game. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
So Arizona, they're gonna give teams trouble. They're not gonna give Washington or Oregon trouble.
Oh.
That's the thing. It's different. They're different. They're 2 chains in this MF.
So
they're different.
So Utah is just an anomaly because if they're healthy. So I'm with you. I'm with you there. Oregon State can beat Washington. Oregon State can beat Oregon. They have to play the best game of their life, but they can beat them.
They can. I can walk out my steps and get hit by a Mack truck this morning.
Right. Oregon State is way better this year. I believe Oregon got better this year, but let's not forget Oregon State did beat Oregon last year. Craziest game ever seen, right? But they did beat them last year.
You think the Ducks forgot that?
Nah, hell no, the Ducks ain't forgot that. No, but Oregon State is better this year, though. That is my point.
They are. They are better. So is Oregon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think that's why it's not the same in SEC. Yeah.
Wait. So is Oregon State as good as Penn State or Ohio State? Nah.
No.
Wait.
No.
Is Utah as good as Ohio State and Penn State or even Iowa on a fully healthy?
Oh, don't you just go throw Iowa in there all willy-nilly now. I'm telling you right now, maybe Maryland, Iowa, and D now knows how much I love Hawks Nest podcast, but I'm telling you right now, You put Iowa in a Pac-12, I know how good their defense is. They're going to play defense. Could they score? Because you got to score in the Pac-12.
We've asked that about Utah, though, in a couple games, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. And UCLA.
So,
bro, I'm telling you. I'm telling
you. See where I'm coming from? We're starting to see. They say it every year. The cream rises to the top.
I agree, yeah. For sure.
You're starting to see the cream. This weekend will be the cream in the Big Ten. This weekend, last weekend, and then probably in the next 2 weekends, you're going to see the cream in the Pac-12 because there's a lot of big games coming up, right? This week and next week. Big 12 is an anomaly by themselves.
Yeah, I'm with you there. We're saying the same thing. We're just saying it differently. I believe that the bottom tier teams in the Big Ten suck.
Just like the Pac-12 suck.
The bottom tier teams, though, I think there's more middle tier teams in the Pac-12 than there are middle tier teams in the Big Ten. I think, I want to like Maryland, but what Illinois did to them this weekend exposed a lot to me. I'm sorry.
Still 4-2.
Yeah,
right?
they're still 4-2, but they cost me $9,000. I'm pissed with Maryland right now.
You got to take the personal shit to the side.
I'll boot College Park right now, but I feel like
I know
where you're coming from. I just feel like the Big Ten is so top heavy. Them top three teams, arguably our top three teams in the nation, with Penn State, Ohio State, who I think will get exposed very soon, and Michigan. And we're going to talk about Michigan a little bit later.
Will they get exposed really soon, or are they starting to get it together?
I think they are
another day.
They're getting it together for a letdown. There will be a Ryan Day special at some point this season. I promise you that.
Or will Kyle McCord get it?
I don't know, because
the thing that's holding Ohio State back, and shout out to my guy Zach from Madison Sports, right? He was a coach, for Ohio State. He coached with Urban Meyer.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about your boy. Yeah.
He nailed it. What is Ohio State lacking the most? Red zone.
Yeah.
Right. That's what McCord hasn't really been doing well. Between the 20s, he's been pretty good. When it comes to getting in the red zone, he's had trouble. And maybe the whole QB controversy and battle was not so much who's going to be the starter, but how to use these guys.
Right.
I think maybe it's time for Devin Brown to have a red zone package.
Okay, I can see that. What is the injury in the running back room looking like? Dallin Hayden was in the doghouse, and he got a bunch of carries this week. Mayan Williams is injured. Travion Henderson is injured. I believe Chip got injured early in the game last.
You're going to start to see the depth come in. They have depth.
For sure. I believe it's the deepest running back room in the nation.
You can be in the doghouse as much as you want, but when the bowl's empty, somebody got to go get food.
And I like him a lot. But that's crazy. I love when me and Nino had these type of debates. So Saturday, Nino, was a week of a lot of double-digit victories, and some of the better games like Florida and South Carolina. Hey, ain't nobody going to discuss that game better than Garnett Roos. You guys make sure y'all check them out, because Nino and Brian Bosars do a hell of a job. We not talking about that game. Wisconsin, an hour, another game. We got a team-based show for that as well called Hawks Nest. You guys check that out. But I will say this, Nino. I was at Bridgeport Stadium in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and I tell you, I've been to a few handful of college stadiums across the nation. I've been to Ann Arbor and seen that one of the meccas of college football. But I tell you right now, I've been to Clemson. I've been to College Park. I've been a lot of places. Bridgeport Stadium in Harrisonburg had the best game day experience. And guess what, Nino?
26K, right?
Yes.
One of the small stadiums. I heard that's loud.
It is. I couldn't hear myself think, bro. It was crazy. It was crazy. Make sure you guys check out that Georgia Southern, the sights and sounds that we did. I'm telling you, it was crazy.
Beautiful.
And also, JMU is a top 25 team. Message is BS that they're not a top 25 team. Nino, what you feel about that?
Yeah, this week they're the version of Air Force.
Yeah.
They should have been there. Then UCLA should have been dumped.
I agree.
I'm with you. That JMU should be there. Can we talk a little bit about the job that head coach Kirk Cignetti is doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right, 6-0, right? And they, like you said, they should be in the top 25 consideration. But how about Jordan McLeod?
What?
I said to you, I'm going to
did.
give you a little tidbit. I wrote you 3 little paragraphs
Uh-huh.
about 3 guys. And the first one was what?
Jordan
McLeod.
Right? It was. He's a smooth kid, boy.
I see you because the kid was nails
Mm-hmm.
against Jordan. 91 PFF grade, 65% completion, 259 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 20 on the ground. He's got a 14-3 TD interception ratio on the season and a 71 PFF grade overall. James Madison, like, kudos to you, young man. Give you a flowers now.
I said this on X earlier, and I'll say it now. Kirk Cignetti will not be the coach of JMU next year. He'll get a Power 5 job. And I know things aren't going well for his brother, Frank Cignetti. And shout out to Frank Cignetti Sr., God bless the dead, one of the greatest, high school coaches of all time. But I would love for Kirk to get a job and go ahead and bring his brother over as offensive coordinator. But let's move along. Nino, we're going to play some rapid fire one-liners.
I'm excited.
I think you are the king of one-liners, bro. I will give you your flowers. I think you're great with one-liners. So this one, I can't wait to hear what you have to say for this one because we previewed this game. I thought Auburn would cover. You said with what? And you were absolutely right. LSU defeats Auburn 48-14. Go ahead, give me your one-liner.
Put some damn respect on Jaden Daniels' name already. 415 total yards, 4 touchdowns. Growth. Heisman.
Love it. Oklahoma State, and I felt like message from Don't Be a Medicine Society while drinking your juice. Oklahoma State defeats Kansas 39-32.
Ollie Gordon treated Kansas defense like a redheaded stepchild. 168 yards rushing, 116 receiving, and 3 touchdowns. Kansas to go take a seat.
This one hurt my soul because I know every time I was telling Moon and my boy Jalen this, man, I was on a 3-way call with them yesterday. Every time I have a favorite player, he gets hurt. Pitt upsets Louisville 38-21.
Jawad Jordan injury sucked. But the Panthers proved that Christian Felix is on QB because that was a different offense that I've seen all year. Phil Jerkovich, you suck.
Yeah, I remember in the beginning of the season, right? And I was asking, I was like, how do you feel about Pitt? Pitt is getting a lot of hype. Phil still respected. It's getting a lot of hype. And he was like, Jerkovic is not a dude. He was like, I watched him here, and I know that he's not a dude. And I got to give you kudos for that one. Let's get back to these one-liners. Notre Dame dominates USC. My dad's calling me because my dad's crazy. He doesn't think.
Cowboys are playing.
Yeah, I can't even say what some of the stuff my dad says. But anyway, they beat USC 48-20. Give me a one-liner.
3 interceptions. Defense didn't lose this one for USC. 48 points, 3 interceptions. Caleb out of the Heisman talk?
You have to say for now. Oregon State defeats UCLA 36-24. Give me a one-liner.
Back-to-back 3 interceptions games for Dante Moore. You can go sit in the corner with your cone hat. Keep that same energy about DJU all year, though, please.
Another thing you were dead on. So we have reached the halfway point of the regular season for most teams. For the fans, we're lucky we're not at the halfway point. While these teams got buys, we don't get buys. But of course, we got the conference championships coming up. Of course, we getting to that point. Everybody want to talk conference championships. So who gonna make the playoff? All of that stuff. Let's slow down. Let's just enjoy the ride, because I believe that this has been one of the better seasons since that highly regarded 2007 season. I believe we have a lot of parity in this sport. So, Nino, I'm gonna put you on a hot seat. Who is the best team in the nation so far this season?
Out of all the teams,
mm-hmm.
How about this? Out of the top 7 teams, each team only has 1 ranked victory.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State's been battle tested with victories on the road against BC and Clemson, and of course LSU to start the year. Cool. Ohio State beat Notre Dame, and if they beat Penn State this week, then I don't know. Florida State, they beat Duke. Then what, right? Because they've been doing their thing. Georgia, I think, is suspect, and will get exposed down, like I said, down this low end AP gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
And Michigan seems like the best overall team. But when UNLV is the best W on the schedule, and let's not knock Barry Odom and what he's doing in UNLV.
Mm-hmm.
5-1 since they've won 5 since the loss so far. But that's when your best W. Are they the best team? I mean, Penn State, Ohio State, they got them late. There's big matchups for them this week. We shall see. Could Washington and Oregon be the best team? I know Oregon's got a loss, but I'm just saying, could they be the best team? I'm going to go with right now Florida State's the best team because I think Florida State's been the most battle-tested team, and they don't have a loss. Give me Florida State right now.
What's interesting is, and shout out to Bosarge. He's in the chat right now. Bosarge, I don't know if you're just stepping in. I told everyone we're not talking about that Florida South Carolina game because you guys are going to do a much better job of doing that on Garnet Roost. I believe, and I cold-heartedly believe that with the hamburger gate, the hamburger law, I believe that brought that team closer together. They haven't faced anyone, and they've been doing this the last few years. This is no, man. You talked about this last season. I'm sure you were talking about it the year before. I was talking about it the year before as well. They haven't beat anybody, but I believe that brought that team closer together. You don't know how refreshing it was seeing J.J. McCarthy get off the bus with a hardball jersey on, and then a taped up that says "Free Hardball." Like, I believe that this team, I love Florida State. I got both of these teams were in my preseason college football playoff, but it's something about Michigan. I just think it's their year.
I don't like Jim.
Mm-hmm.
He just reminds me of that dirty old man, no Adam Sandler movie. Right? Something about him that just like carry. You ain't Nick, bro. Don't carry yourself like Nick. Like, Nick's the only one who can carry himself that way. Dabo tried to. Look what happened to Dabo. Now he's eating shit. You know what I mean? Like, don't a hamburger gate, whatever. He's a slime, dude. You tried to bounce because you knew it was coming. I don't like you. I think you're scum. I love what comments out of JJ's mouth last week when he said that this team plays for now, plays for each other. They don't play for the NFL. They're not playing for, you know what I mean? Looking ahead. I'm cool with that. But if I'm looking at top 6-7 teams, the top 6-7 teams are the ones with no losses that are legitimate in my eyes, right? Washington in there, they're in there. Who's been the most battle tested? I mean, granted, the Oregon-Washington game was the biggest battle.
Yeah. But no, Florida State has certainly been. They played, LSU. They played Clemson. They've certainly been battle tested.
Who do you think right now, if Michigan were to play out of the top 5 teams, would give them the best run and possibly beat them? You got to say Florida State, right? You don't trust McCord. You trust Travis.
I do. I try. You know how I feel about Jordan Travis, but I don't think I've seen this Florida State team put it all together yet, and that's the scary part.
And that is why I think they're the better team.
That's the scary part.
Because they're putting it together and they're battle tested.
So when the Clemson game, the way that they won the Clemson game, and seeing that they were flat that game. They came out flat against BC as well.
BC's trash, right? You want to say they're trash, whatever. They're finding identity fine. Whatever you want to call them, right? I see them firsthand every week, so I know what they are.
Right.
They battled in that game. Not knowing what Castellanos was, a straight curveball to them, and making a knuckleball. They had no idea what they were getting themselves into. Early season, they were prepping for Moorhead, right? Because that was week 3. So this and it was very minimal tape because most of it was on his legs. He didn't really throw the ball that much. They battled back in that game, won the game. When there was a possibility for them to lose it, they didn't lose it. They won it. Okay.
Right. And Travis got injured that game as well.
Exactly. The Clemson game is huge. The LSU game was a battle, bro.
Yeah.
And you're seeing, and this is why I think you've seen 2 weeks of no Johnny Wilson. You've seen Keon Coleman just straight dominant. That one-handed catch over the middle of the field was straight dog stats. Rapid
fire question: is he creating separation between him and Malik Neighbor? And actually, this is probably a better question for Bosarge, you and Bosarge to talk about. Who's the number 2 wide receiver in the draft right now?
Neighbors. Come on.
Neighbors. You think so?
Yeah.
Keon Coleman hasn't closed the gap. Is he the number 3 receiver for crying out loud?
Who's got the most yards in the country, bro?
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors. How you not have him at 2? You only have him at 2 because Marvin Harrison exists in this world.
Yeah, that's point blank period. So it's not close to you.
I love Mbuka. But he hasn't. I thought he would have a larger than life season this year. I thought because JSN was going, okay, boom, you're gonna get.
Oh,
Harrison got hurt, and he hasn't taken that jump. Like, I love it. Buka, he's probably top 5, but he might be 5 right now.
I'm going to definitely have to check out both Sarge. He said they're talking about the top 5 wide receivers. I can't wait to hear that. Nino, it's a pleasure as always, man. I love arguing with you. I love going back and forth with you. I love picking your brain because you really do this. This is Overreaction Monday. Hopefully me and Nino ain't yell at you too much. But
I'm sorry, it was Oregon. I got excited.
But we absolutely love this, man. You all take care.